this is optibotimus coming with another video review. And wrapping up the very unfortunate Dark of the Moon cancelled figures, here we have the Transformers Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Soundwave. Now one thing that's actually really interesting about this is this appears to be just a regular Hasbro packaging with a brief little sticker down here. And it says on there the Tomy company, I mean this is the Takara Tomy sticker pretty much, and that's about it. I mean everything else on here is still in English. I mean there's no Chinese writing anywhere. I mean this is all English on here. Even the top part here, I mean it's got his description and everything, which says Earth is bursting with information. The very air pulses with radio waves. Worldwide computer networks vibrate with digital secrets. Soundwave collects it all. Every voice is recorded, every bird song remembered, every bit of data analyzed. Information is power, and no one knows better than Soundwave how to turn that power into a weapon. Got a much better read-up than the Human Alliance one. As you can see, really cool robot mode. The absolutely gorgeous Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. And flip around here on the side, you got his technical data. And then, as you can see down in the bottom, also available wheeljack. Except not really, which kinda sucks. Now one thing I will say about this Soundwave figure is of all the canceled Dark of the Moon figures, this by far is the cheapest that I've been able to find. Online through eBay, I was able to get this guy for like $30 shipped, which is definitely not a bad price at all. But there you have him, so let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Okay guys, so here we have Soundwave opened up and out of its packaging. And honestly, this is just like the Human Alliance figure, an absolutely gorgeous looking vehicle. I love the way that this looks. Now, unlike the Human Alliance one, he obviously doesn't have the opening doors, but still retains the same kind of look. The biggest problem is, much like the Human Alliance one, the color on this just is so dull. I mean, this is just absolutely terrible. Now, I'll show you kind of a little bit here. You can see his face here is actually painted this gorgeous silver, and I'll get into that more later on. If the rest of this figure was painted like that, oh my God, this thing would be incredible. I absolutely love the car. It's just the paint just really goes and just stinks. Now in terms of his accessories, he does come with the MechTech weapon, which as you can see, you got the two little holes here, which I love the whole thing when you plug it in here. I mean obviously it looks rather goofy hanging out there, but you take it out and the plug just springs right back in. Let's see if I can find something here. Here's a little pair of tweezers. You can see it goes in and springs right back out, and that's on both of them. I absolutely love that because it keeps the illusion that it's just one solid piece. I hate when they put all these different peg holes and everything all over the figure and just completely ruin it. Now, I mean, it can also fit in here. Now, it is a MechTech weapon, so what does that mean? Well, it can transform. It has this little blaster look, and then when you pull this back, it makes it into a satellite. Or radar dish, I should say, which is actually really cool, and it works really well. I do wish that there was a way to lock it, but I think that this is possibly one of the best MechTech weapons that I've seen. I mean, it's kind of functional. Oh, well, that didn't work. It's kind of functional. I mean, he's got this big giant gun, and then obviously Soundwave is going to have something like that, so I really do like that. And like I said, you can plug it in here, and you can pull this, and now he's driving around with the big giant radar dish on there, which, you know, I mean, it's okay, I guess. I suppose I can imagine him driving down and then having this kind of like morph out of him and have a radar dish kind of hanging out there. I mean, I can imagine that happening. But like I said, the biggest problem is just the lack of paint on here. And you can see the SLS AMG logo right on here. Got the Mercedes logo right there. You also have the Mercedes logo here on the front. Now this is actually a figure that I might try to paint. I'm not 100% sure. I might give it a try, but I'm really not all that confident in my painting skills, and I don't want it to look all splotchy, so I don't know. I don't know what I might do. But I really think that this figure would look a whole lot better if it had, you know, kind of like this silver of maybe the hubcaps, or maybe kind of like the silver on his face. But overall, it's a gorgeous looking vehicle, just really kind of suffers because of the lack of paint. Now the transformation form, it's really kind of hard for me to say. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but there's not a lot of room to move things around to be able to do what you really need to do. And I'll kind of show that off here in a second. First, what you want to do, you want to separate this back panel, and by doing so, you also are going to separate the roof of the car. So just pull this up, and lift that forward just like so. And then you can see that these giant tabs right here peg in here, and that's one thing that kind of is interesting. This entire section is all clear for the most part, including this back section right here. It's just painted over it to kind of give the look of the rest of the car, which is kind of weird. Then take these sections, fold these out, and they're gonna angle, like you can see it slides out and then angle them out like so. Take this, separate this, and then rotate this around like that. Do that on this side, pop it down, and then swivel it all the way around just like that. Straighten these out, and you're gonna be creating his legs. Fold these bits down, fold those down, fold this down and around, and you're gonna have a little tiny peg on the inside here that's going to slot inside that little hole. So do that right there. Fold the foot all the way down. Do that on this side as well. And there's some really nice molded detail that you can kind of see on the inside here. It's really actually kind of impressive that, again, if it was painted properly, could really make it pop. Fold that down just like so. And now you have his legs. Now, one thing that you're actually supposed to do is you can kind of sort of see little indentations here on the sides. Right inside here, you're actually supposed to take these, and these are supposed to come over and kind of lock into place, but they don't. You can see where it's fitted, but they don't really hold in there, and it will look a whole lot better. But the actual instructions just tell you to leave it out like this, but you can totally see that they're supposed to go there. They just don't push down very well, so you're kind of forced leaving them like this, I guess. Now for the most complicated part of the transformation, his upper section. You want to rotate these bits all the way down, just like so. Just to, again, I suppose to get them out of the way. Bring this up, kind of angle this back, take these arms, kind of loosen these up, fold this, or get these out of the way, and then you have to fold this fake section. You see it's a fake chest. It looks just like the chest section right there. Well, although that's not the chest section, that's going to be the chest section. Fold that all the way down, fold this down, well, yeah, fold that down, well, rotate his head back, then fold that down, then angle this down, and again, these arms really kind of are stuck up in here, and it's really kind of a pain in the ass. Fold that all the way down, and then these are going to fold up, and again, kind of just wiggle just to get everything out of the way, and then this section here is going to lock into place, sort of, right up inside here, just like so. And then, as you can see, like, there's no room for anything, so you have to really kind of almost force things, and it's kind of a, I don't want to say cluster flub, but it really kind of is. So rotate these around so they're like this, and then angle these out, this little section right here, pull this out, come on, there we go, and angle that down just like that, and then fold that down. So you're gonna kind of have it like that, then fold this out, and then rotate right up in here, and now you have his one arm done. And then do that on this side as well. Rotate that around, rotate these, fold that up, rotate this, straighten that out, rotate that, kind of angle these so they're kind of pointing back here. Straighten out the legs. This section here, kind of straighten that out as much as you possibly can. Kind of leave it like that. And stand him up. And here you have Soundwave in his robot mode. And when it comes down to his robot mode, I really think that this guy absolutely looks fantastic. Again, he'd look even better if his paint matched his actual head. I mean, as you can see, there's an absolutely gorgeous, very well painted head right on this guy. He does have a little bit of light piping, but it's kind of, I mean, like the whole back of his head is kind of like this clear bit, so it's kind of funny. But you can take this and you can see that his eyes do light up fairly nicely. But, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, with the whole back of his head, I mean, it should light up nicely. But, I mean, I really do like the way this guy looks. There's a lot of things that he pulls off in this form, in terms of the deluxe form, that the Human Alliance one really kind of fell short on. And for the most part, if you were able to take this guy and make him Human Alliance size, I think that this would be a perfect representation of what we saw in the Transformers Dark of the Moon movie. I mean, I love the fact that his actual wheels are back here, very much like the actual animation animation or CGI that we saw. Now, the Human Alliance one did kind of sort of do that as well. This guy just pulls it off a whole lot better. You got the faux chest right up in here, which, you know, definitely kind of works. And then, I mean, you come down and you have his legs. Now, one of the biggest problems, like I said, is this piece right here. Now, because the window is translucent, it kind of hides a little bit, but then you got this dangly piece here, which really kind of destroys that. I mean, you can totally see that my finger is behind the glass, but when it's not there, it really kind of hides it. So, I mean, the big giant backpack thing that he kind of has going on here really isn't all that bad, except for that one piece. It just looks like a floating block between his legs. That looks hilarious. And then, as you can see, his legs are a huge improvement over the Human Alliance one. I mean, it's got substance to him. It's got some heft. Doesn't look like straggly little thin spaghetti straps of legs. In terms of his articulation, his head will rotate from left to right, which, you know, obviously that's pretty good, I suppose. His arms will rotate here, but you kind of have to watch out for these bits right here. They'll kind of get in the way of things. They're on ball joints, so you get a decent range of motion. That's about as far out as you're going to get them. The elbows here are on two different kind of joints. You got a swivel joint here at the top part, but then at the lower part, you also have them on a ball joint. So you get a nice range of motion there as well. And then the wrists themselves are actually on these little swivels that you can make them go forward and back like that. Nothing at the waist. The hips here are on ball joints. He's got 2 points here at the, well, he's got 1 point here at the knee, and then at the lower part of the shin, he's got a joint. So you get a nice range of motion. One other kind of thing that's really kind of interesting. Oh, and he also rotates here at the bicep. These little bits here actually fold out if I can get them to do so. Come on. There we go. And he's got like sonic disruptors or something of that nature. Now the instructions, I don't remember actually seeing those in the instructions, but both of them kind of extend outward for some kind of various weapon, I suppose. Speaking of his weapon, you have his mech tech gun that he can hold very nicely in his hand, and that's a really big kind of gun, and it's almost a little bit too big. But then you can also take this section and clip it up here because he's got two little holes here, so you can have that kind of look going if you really want it. And then you pull that back and look, he's got his little radar dish. So it really kind of depends on what you want to do and how you want to display him. I personally just leave this off and hide it off to the side. But, I mean, in general, this is a really nice looking robot mode. Again, the only thing that really suffers on it is the lack of paint. Something that I really wish that, I don't even know if they made a Takara version. I haven't looked, and I'm sure somebody's probably going to tell me, but I really don't care. And telling you guys that I don't care doesn't stop you. So I'll probably get comments. But that being said, there you have the deluxe class Soundwave here in his robot mode. Very nice looking. And like I said, at a reasonable price. I mean, a lot of these places, like on eBay and things of that nature, that have these overseas, sell them for between $30 and $40. So this is definitely a figure that you guys could pick up if you really wanted to. And in my opinion, it is worth picking up. I mean, it really does look pretty cool. Now, to transform him back, he, again, is a bit of a pain in the butt. You want to rotate these arms around here at the ball joint section. Well, actually, you want to do it like this. And then they're going to angle up just like so. So, like that. And then these angle up just like so. And then this whole section here is just kind of a cluster. You kind of fold that down, rotate these down, and again, you just kind of angle this. Get this out of the way, angle this. I mean, it really is, like I said, there's not a lot of room to do anything. Fold this up, take the head, fold that down, and because there's not a lot of room, you're really kind of rubbing into pieces and things of that nature, so it's kind of cumbersome, but I mean, it's not impossible really to do. So get it kind of lined up like so. There we go. Kind of angle that back, fold this all the way up, there we go, fold that down just like that, angle this section right up in here, fold the roof bit or hood piece, I'm sorry, fold that in. Hopefully you guys could actually see some of this, because I know I wasn't really explaining things too terribly well just that second. You have to get this out of the way, the hands, you have to fold this down into this chest cavity just like so. Kind of keep this, and again, this all got twisted around right up in here. There we go. Come on. Stop being a pain in my butt, Soundwave. There we go. This is why Carly didn't like Soundwave, because, you know, it was a pain in the butt. There you go. And then take these legs, fold these bits out just like so. Fold this section all the way up, and then bring this around just like that. Then that's going to tab underneath here, and just kind of forget that for right now. You're gonna have a pain in the butt later on. Do that, fold that out, fold this foot up like so, rotate this up and around, kind of hook that in. There we go. Bring this up, hook that in. Come on, there we are. Just like so. Fold this section back. Bring these bits down, kind of scoot them down just like so. Bring these over, peg that in, and here you're just kind of taking things and you're putting the puzzle back together, and you're kind of squishing everything, and in doing so, you somehow magically you end up with him back in his vehicle mode. Now, as I said, in my honest opinion, the only downfall really of this figure is the paint job. Vehicle mode, I think he absolutely looks wonderful. I love this style for this car. Just the paint job again really kind of keeps it from being an outstanding figure. Now, the transformation, while a little bit tricky and kind of cumbersome because there's not a lot of room and pieces are constantly kind of bunching into each other, isn't too terribly difficult to do. You just got to take your time and you'll get used to it after a while. But the first few times really is going to be frustrating for you, especially in the shoulder area. In the robot mode, again, I just think looks wonderful, just lacks the paint. That being said, the cost for this figure, currently on eBay, like I said, is between $30 and $40, which at that price, I think this figure is well worth that. And even though that this guy killed my all-time favorite Transformer, Wheeljack, I still would highly recommend to you guys to pick this figure up. Very fun, very cool, and very unfortunate that it didn't get mass release where everybody can enjoy him. But at least he's out there and he's relatively decently priced, so if you real hardcore fans want to get him, there's definitely a way that you really can add them at an affordable price to your collection. So until next time, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.